Yeah.
is January the 31st, 2004, and I'm
My
interviewing.
God, time flies.
I'm interviewing Bill Braverman, and we're going to start off by asking him, tell us where and when you were born.
I was born in Poland in 1921.
1921.
And we came over that same year. And when I came over, I was probably like 3 or 4 months old.
Do you remember the trip?
I remember it vaguely.
Okay.
But I was told by my parents that I had dysentery. I was very sick.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, what did your mother and father do as for a living? And where did you grow up most of your life?
In St. Louis.
Did you live in New York at all?
For a very short period of time. My dad had a lot of relatives there, and he wanted to go to New York. And he did go, got a job as a baker, worked at night. And I was probably about 5 years old at that time, maybe even a little bit more than that. And I absolutely hated New York. It was a miserable place. We lived in Brooklyn in one of those old tenements. Didn't even have a John in it. We had to go in the hall. And I got into a lot of fights with kids because I was not happy there.
Wow.
And it was a very short period of time, maybe no more than 4 or 5 months.
That you lived in New York?
Yes.
And then you moved to St. Louis?
Back to St. Louis again.
And whereabouts in St. Louis did you live?
Oh, God. Well, most of the time when they bought the house, my grandparents bought the house. They lived downstairs and we lived upstairs. It was a double, what do you call it, a duplex or something like that. It was a 1390 Granville place. I remember that most of all.
Okay. As a child growing up, well, tell me, you have one brother, correct?
That's correct.
And I'm just going to ask you, what is one of your favorite childhood memories living there in St. Louis?
The women I chased.
And you're still chasing to this day.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Okay, seriously now, growing up with your brother, do you have any memories? What did you used to do as a kid for fun?
Well, I played a lot of ball with buddies of mine. I never really did a lot with my brother, but I played a lot of ball. I had a group of guys that, I was very acquainted with. And
When you say ball, what kind of ball?
baseball,
Baseball?
yeah. And it was a lot of fun. We used to play a lot of stickball in the alleys. I don't know if you know what stickball is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we used to do that when we couldn't go to a ballpark, that kind of thing.
So you used to go to the ballpark?
Oh, we went a lot. My friend Pete, who died about 2 years ago, had at Sportsman's Park, the book that your son is reading now. His uncle Tony had a bunch of hot dog stands there. Like he owned like 6 or 7 of them. And we used to go for free all the time.
Wow.
To the ballpark. And Pete would sell hot dogs and I would watch the game.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Do you remember any like highlights of any games, anything exciting, ball
I
players?
remember some of the ball players.
Okay, name a few.
Stan Musial, Joe Gragiola, Joe Medwick, Frankie Frisch, Red Schoendienst, who later managed the Cardinals, I believe. He was their second baseman. Just a whole flock of well-known ball players.
Okay.
They had great teams at that time, and their biggest rivals were the Chicago Cubs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, did you ever see Babe Ruth?
Yes. Not with the Yankees, but when he went to the Boston Red Sox. In fact, I saw him hit 2 home runs.
He was with the Red Sox before the Yankees.
No, afterwards. When he left the Yankees.
Oh, he came back then to Boston.
Yes,
okay.
yes. I think it was the Red Sox.
Okay.
But I definitely saw him.
Okay, how about anything you remember about school growing up?
Uh, I fluffed off a lot.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you didn't
And
enjoy school
I was always interested in art.
in art?
Yeah. And when I got to high school, one of my goals was to design the senior class banner when I graduated, which I did. And my design got picked. And I was very proud of that.
Okay. Back in St. Louis, your father, he was still a baker, or what else did he do?
No, he was he sewed. He was an operator, and he would sew for caps, headpieces, and he would sew
For cats?
caps.
Oh, caps.
Yeah,
Okay.
that kind of thing. And what he would do, he would sew. The caps had a fold-up part in them that would come down over the ears, for winter.
Right.
And those down pieces were made of fur, and he would sew those, and he was like on piecework, and he'd bring a lot of it home at night. He was a very hard worker, and he would sew sometimes late at night in the basement, and take it back with him in the morning.
Okay. How about your mother? Did she do anything at that time, or?
No, she ran the house.
Okay. So she cooked and took care of the kids and
Yeah,
all that?
women didn't do much in those days.
Okay. Give me, just for the record, your dad's full name and your mom's full name.
My dad's full name was Max Braverman, and my mother's maiden name was Cherbitz, Cherbitz, and her first name was Rose, and in Jewish they called her Rivka.
Rivka. Okay. I remember we used to call him Baba and Zeta.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So after school, what happened when you were in your teens? How soon did you go into the service?
I started Washington University the first year, and to the art school, and at that time I enlisted in a program. It was called, I don't remember what it was called, ASTP or something. I was also in the ROTZ, and it was an officer's training candidate kind of thing. And during the first semester, or after it, I don't remember exactly, I got called up to active duty. So I was an enlisted man.
Okay. And this was, which war did you go to?
Civil War.
Yeah. No, it was where did you go? What war? I mean, you talk about Korea, you talk about Japan.
World War II, and I went to the South Pacific.
South Pacific, on a boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And did you enjoy the service?
It was a good adventure, yes.
Good adventure?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, it sort of, it helped to, in a way, to, I don't know if this is a trite term, but make a man of me.
Okay. Very interesting. All right. So, where and when did you meet your wife that gave birth to your children?
Do I have to go into that?
Well, for the record, I'm curious.
Well, I met her after I came out of service. My brother was an intern at the hospital at that time, after I was out for a very short time, and he introduced me to her.
Okay.
That's
And how long did you date before you got married and all that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm. I graduated school, and maybe we got married about 6 or 7 months after that.
Okay, so you knew her for how long before you got married?
6 or 7 months.
6 or 7 months. Okay, and you knew she was the one for you.
No comment.
Okay, now here comes the tricky question. Okay, when do you remember what year you got married?
51 or 52.
Okay. And then when did you move to California, and why did you move to California?
I went to work for Universal Match Corporation. I was offered to take charge of an art department here in the 11 western states by a guy by the name of Dick McGurn, who was the sales manager. He came to St. Louis, saw what I did, and he offered me that job.
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles. And I came, and we just left almost immediately. We came with both my mother and Shirley's grandmother. And
You came to LA with Shirley's grandmother?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Gigi, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And my mother.
What about your father?
No, my mom and dad were still back there.
But they moved here after
Later
that.
on, yeah.
Okay, so you came with Gigi. Did she live with you guys?
No, we stayed at some hotel, and I don't remember how that transpired. They did not live with us. I don't remember.
Okay. All right, so this was, what are we guessing? What year did you move to Los Angeles?
51 or 52.
Okay.
52, probably.
And then you worked for a few years, then you had children.
Yeah.
Your first child's name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca what?
Sue.
Okay, and then your next?
Jeffrey Allen.
And then your next?
Julie Ann.
And your next?
And Brad Braverman.
What's his middle name?
You know, what is his middle name?
I'm asking you.
I don't know.
Bradley Bill.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay. All right. We lived on Corning Street. That's the first house I remembered.
Yep.
And then we moved to Collier Street.
Yep.
Okay.
We bought the place on Corning Street.
No, on Corning Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I put together a deal. A freeway was going in there, and I put together a deal where 6 of us sold jointly. I don't know if you remember that.
I kind of remember hearing about it.
And we got $30,000 or $40,000 that we put into this place in Tarzana.
Okay. And
To buy it.
growing up with children, any memories or any fond memories of having a family at that time?
I enjoyed it. I remember the progress of all the kids, of going to school, and they had very good schools that they went to, I thought. And for a while there, those were happy years.
Why did you beat us all the time? Okay, my next question. Do you remember any family vacations that we took?
Did we?
Yeah. I mean,
You know, I don't, Jeff. But give me refresh me.
okay, do you remember you took Becky and I to St. Louis on the train?
Oh, I sure do remember that.
Okay, we went to Florida on the train.
Yes, I
with
remember.
Mom, and you met us there like a little
Yeah,
after
yeah,
that.
I remember that, yeah.
Okay, but you don't remember much about it.
No.
Okay. How about the trip we took to Sequoia?
We drove, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
How come I don't think you do? Do
I do.
you remember?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Idlewild, we used to do that.
We used to go that all the time.
We actually went to Death Valley one time. Do you remember
I
that?
remember that too.
And we used to go with another family,
The Fishers.
the Fishers.
Right. And you know, Idlewild, I really enjoyed, because you guys were going to school there for many summers, and I think that was very good for all of you. So that was fun.
It was fun.